welcome back to my channel for the short 1 hour stream with Kelkster. Getting my channel again, should be a regular at this point. Hello Kelkster, how are you? Now, we've got news here on Rico Lewis, not sure if you've seen it yet, but Rico Lewis is signing a 5-year contract at Man City. What do you think of that? Because I actually wanted him, I didn't want him to go per se, but I would have preferred him to go. What do you think?
I mean, it's good news. Like we do have like academy quotas to maintain for Champions League, and I think when he's utilized properly, he's a tiny little player. I thought he had a pretty good game on Saturday, and I love that connection he has with Oscar Bob. So anything to keep those two, like if I have to keep Oscar Bob, if it means keeping Rico Lewis, I'm taking it because I really want Oscar Bob to make it on this team, and I love the chemistry those two have together, and I just kind of want to see that foster and grow. I'm also a helpless romantic for the academy, so even though Rico Lewis he's had his struggles, I'm not going to deny that. I still like him as a player. I think he's very intelligent, and I really look forward to the day that he can actually play in his real position in the midfield because he's quite good in the midfield.
Sure. I don't necessarily disagree that he's good in midfield. I think he's an okay midfielder, and I think he can become a good midfielder with age and just experience. But that's a problem. He'll need both of those. How much will he get at Man City when you're competing with Ryan Cherki, you're competing with Phil Foden, you're competing with Oscar Bob, who's eventually going to shift into midfield, you're competing with Nico O'Reilly, Tijani Reinders, Rodri, Nico Gonzalez, and that's not considering who we will buy on top of that, because we always keep buying. At least we should, if you want to stay on top. I don't disagree that he's got potential in midfield, but I think there's no pathway into a Man City midfield for Rico Lewis, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough, but if he works hard, you never know. He could displace some of these players, and we never know. Some of the names you listed, they might want to leave. Like we know we're going to lose Bernardo next season. We know Kovacic and Gundo, we're not here long term. I love Tijani Reinders, but he's 27, so he's not going to be here forever. So it's just a matter of if Rico Lewis wants to wait that long. He might not. But in the meantime, let's keep him, and he can just keep getting better. And if he's not happy, we can probably sell him for a really good profit. I mean, he will be a profit because he's a academy player, but I'd say just keep him around as a squad player for now. There's a lot more on the list that I'd rather get rid of than him. I could get rid of him, but he's pretty far down the list for me.
The fact he does sign a 7-year extension probably does mean he, at least at some level, does want to stay and fight for his place, which is something that people criticize Savio for, by the way, for not doing for some reason. Like a lot of people were angry about Savio. Don't spam, please, or I'll block you. Big up to Tausif, by the way, and Chet and Rosa. How are you guys? Okay, I'm blocking you. But yeah, what I was going to say in response to that is, 1 second. He's just not going to get the minutes he needs. I think that's the main issue. And listen, when Gundogan leaves, should I say, we'll buy someone new. That is my problem. I don't think that Rico Lewis is good enough for when Gundogan leaves to take that spot. I just don't think he's good enough for that. So you got all these players, that will be leaving. Who are you going to say, okay, next season, Rico Lewis, that's your spot? Is it Bernardo Silva? I don't think so. I think that's more of a Bob thing to replace, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, I mean, I said, I'm happy for him to just stay for now. And, he can decide after next season or the season after if he's had enough minutes. And then if that's the case, we'll be able to get a good price for him because, he'll be homegrown by then. Like, I know he's on, I think it's either this season or next season, will be classified as homegrown. And we see the prices going around for English players. So you might as well just keep him and see if his value keeps going up. And if he's not happy, then you could sell him for a lot of money.
Sure. But I do just want to say as well on academy players with Trafford, because he counts as an academy player. He was here for 3 years. So Trafford, Foden, Bob, and O'Reilly, we already have 4, which is the amounts that we need for Champions League. So as long as we have homegrown players, so Bettinelli is one. Then let's say you get
Stones and
Stones will
Ake are
leave.
both they're
Stones will
homegrowns,
leave,
yeah.
and same with Ake.
No.
So you've got
Spammer's
already
back.
one with Bettinelli. You need 3 more. So I'm trying to think. Do we have any other homegrown players right now? I don't think.
We have Stones, Ake. They're both homegrown.
Yeah, but I'm talking long term. I don't think so.
Long term, yeah.
So yeah,
It'd just be the
maybe
academy
long
ones.
term we will need some players homegrown, but even then you can go buy them, especially if we buy a homegrown right back, which is rumored, but again rumored. If you go buy a homegrown right back, now you've got another homegrown player in there. So I'm not sure that Lewis will even be needed for homegrown. I'm not saying he has no chances, but if Rico Lewis wants to be a Man City player, I think he has to do it as a right back. Because it's just so difficult to be in a Man City midfield. You don't need to be a good midfielder to be in a Man City midfield. You need to be sublime in every single midfield position. If you are a good 10, you're not good enough because you'll need to be good in the 8 as well. And if you're not good in the 8, then you better be good on the wing. And if you're only good in one position in a Man City midfield, you're not going to work out. Grealish, very good in that left wing, left inverted midfield spot. And that's the only place he's good. But that's not what Pep wants from him. Pep wants him out wide, wants him playing a specific style, and he can't do it. Not good enough. McAtee, very good as a 10 who can crash the box. That's the only place he is good. On the wing, sure, he'll do one thing once in a while, but consistently he'll do nothing. So when you're good in only one place, you're not good enough for Man City. I really don't think Rico Lewis is good enough in multiple positions.
We've only seen him like a couple of times in the midfield, but he's had some decent games there. Like there's the Arsenal game away. What was that? That was when Rodri was suspended. That Nottingham Forest game last year in the Cup, that was a really good game for him in the midfield. So he's had moments, but yeah, I do agree with your point that it's going to be tough to find minutes for him there. But I mean, Pep did show this last game that maybe he's willing to use some more younger players because he brought Nico O'Reilly on instead of Gundogan. That actually shocked the hell out of me. I thought for sure it'd be Gundo off the bench. And then he said in the quotes afterwards, he said he brought Turkey in for control and not Gundo. And I was like, oh, maybe it's so maybe Pep is willing to give some of these guys some chances this year, the young players. And obviously it won't be all the time, probably won't be the big games, but a game like Wolves is a perfect game to kind of give them some minutes in their best position. Just to see what you have.
Sure. But against Wolves, Rico played as right back.
Yeah. But he did it very well. Like I think he's good at that little inverted role. And it seems like there is a system for him to do that role. And like when Nico Gonzalez, as others have alluded to, that he's still learning his position. So he gets the extra help from the inverted midfield or fullbacks. So we expect to see that a lot this year, don't we? Because we don't expect, I don't think anybody expects Rodri to be playing 3 games a week anytime soon. So there could be a lot of minutes for him there.
Sure. There could be minutes there, but I mean, I'm repeating my question.
Yeah.
Is it good enough for Man City? Because that is the problem I have with Rico Lewis. With any youth player for Man City. When you come through Man City, you don't need to be good. You need to be sublime. And I look at Cole Palmer. I still would not take him at Man City right now because he will go missing 3 months at a time. And when you play at Man City, 3 months at a time, you'll get killed for it. Look at Foden. Injuries. He had injuries for, I think, 9 months. People were still attacking him because he wasn't playing to the level. Now you do that without injuries, which Palmer does. You are not walking off the pitch alive. And that's the problem with these players. They can be brilliant. You need to be on a different level, especially in midfield for Man City, because we are just so heavy in midfield, so many great midfielders. So that is why I think Rico Lewis's best shot is at right back. I do think he plays some good games at right back. My problem is it's not enough. It's not consistent. Now, he's young, sure. Maybe that consistency can come. but it will have to come quickly, I think, because if we're going to go into the window next year, we just very well may say, okay, we can sell Lewis because also when you've got a 5-year contract, you're worth more, and you can just buy a better right back, for example, say Livramento, if that's still a thing. I just see no way. That's as simple as I can put it. I like Rico. I like Rico as a player. I just don't think he's good enough for Man City. But I'll be happy to be proven wrong, of course. 5 years, listen, I don't mind. Because at the end of the day, if he plays great, you've got to play it for 5 years there. If he doesn't play good enough, now you've got a 5-year contract, which makes you very strong in negotiations.
Yeah, it'll just be up to Rico if the minutes are good enough. And we won't know that. We'll never be privy to that. But if he's happy with his limited minutes, then I don't see a reason why we should get rid of him. Yeah. But if he becomes unhappy, then like I said, because he's English and teams always need English players, we could probably be an easy sale.
Yeah, and another sale that might not be as easy, Ilkay Gundogan, who could still leave. Now, how likely do you think it is that Gundogan leaves? Because I don't think it's happening.
I don't think he will. Who's going to pay him the wages?
No one.
Some genius gave him 210 or 230K a week at age 35. Genius. Actually. Oh, genius. Just genius to give that to an old player who walked out the door in our club, mind you. Remember, he left us. And then he came back. And for some odd reason, he gets all these wages. I don't get that. Also, who was it? Florian Pletterberg, that guy, the German guy. He's like, Ilkay Gundogan's linked away. And I was like, oh, well, that's a confirmation that he's staying. Because that guy gets a lot of stuff wrong. So I was like, if he says he's going, that to me means he's staying. And I keep hearing about this coaching thing and, oh, well, he can't leave. He can't go away for a year because he wants to come back and be a coach. I really don't see how those two are correlated whatsoever. So that's kind of frustrating. But if Gundogan is willing to be the guy who sits in the stands when everybody's healthy and he's not going to make a fuss about it, then, I'm not like happy he's going to stay. But if he's just not going to make a big deal about it, and the important thing for me is that he needs to be the one in the stands. Like the younger players need to play over him. Like, I could see him starting in like Carabao Cup games, like start him and Nico O'Reilly in the midfield, so that way you're pairing
James Milner type of role.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I wouldn't even play him most games. Like I would hardly even play him in some Premier League games. If we're running low on registration in the Champions League, he's the one I'm leaving out. If he's willing to do that, like as a veteran, and he can keep collecting his high wages. He's done and won everything, so. If he's willing to just kind of step back and, help players develop, like he's probably doing a lot in training that we're not seeing, like helping players, like teaching them kind of like probably becoming like a coach in a sense. So if he's just not going to complain and doesn't feel upset and Pep doesn't try to force him in the lineup, then I guess it's not that big of a deal. But ideally we would have sold him. But if he's not going to complain and he's going to help players and he's not going to play a lot, then I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there. Now, in the Wolves game, Gundogan didn't play, so he did step aside a bit, whether that's willingly or not. Let's talk about the Wolves game, because we've not been very positive on this channel, have we?
No, I'm getting a reputation now. I'm like, I think I'm one of the negative people, but I really enjoyed that game. And that's the first time I could say that in a really long time. In a competitive game, we'll say that.
Rodrigo is looking at houses in Manchester, but I heard the same thing about words, so I'm not gonna. I'm not
falling for that.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing with words. He might be looking at houses at Liverpool.
Yeah,
because that's all.
You go be neighbors with words.
Imagine they have Rodrigo. Ekitike, not that great, but short. Salah, Wirtz, McAllister, Gravenberg. Okay, let's say positive.
It's a great starting 11 if they stay healthy and they stay in form.
To be fair,
their bench options are not very good.
They lose half of their starting 11 to AFCON, to be fair.
Who besides Salah goes for that?
Konate, right?
No, Konate is French. He plays for France.
Is he?
Yeah,
he never
plays for
gets
France.
called up, does he?
I think he does. I don't know if he starts, but he plays for France.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think it's just Salah
yeah, he
for
has
them.
Malian, but he plays for France. But he never gets called up.
I thought he was one of their starters. Oops. I thought it was Saliba and Konate. I don't know.
No, it's Saliba and Upamecano.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot. Yeah. For some odd reason, Deschamps
to be fair,
To
be fair, I barely watch France play football. I fucking hate them as a footballing nation. Anyhow, that's besides the point. Right, Man City absolutely spanked Wolves. And I like the way we played because you can talk about the result. It's Wolves. I'm expecting to win against Wolves. You can talk about the players, but it's the first game of the season. Doesn't tell you a lot. That can go anyway. What I thought was most important is the way we played. 3 of our 4 goals came from a counter. We are playing off a counter. And I look the way we play, it's so dynamic. You see Bob and at the start of the game, Silva, they're just constantly running all over the pitch. And in a good way, they're just running all over the pitch, they're carrying the ball, and Bob stays down his right-hand area. But what I noticed, he'd stay down the right until we cross the halfway line, and then he'd suddenly run into the middle. Unless he's carrying the ball, then he'd go down the right. And that just creates havoc when you do that. And I like it. It's a lot more chaotic football, which is something we've seen from Liverpool over the past few years. And I mean, it's no coincidence we brought in one of their coaches. What did you think about the game? We'll talk about the players in a minute, just the overall game, the way we played and stuff.
Oh God, it was so enjoyable to watch. Like last season was just so boring and dull, and I can't even say it anymore. The backwards and sideways passing was just so dreadful and so it was so slow. Like we had legs everywhere. Everyone was running. Everyone was trying to get the second balls or to win duels, or they'd play risky ball. And if they lost the ball, they'd be right there to get it. We saw a tactical foul. I feel like we didn't see that once last season. Like that's a big part of the game. And the countering really suits Holland too. So look at him. He showed back up. He was barely in the game at all, but when he did, he got 2 goals and he looked happy for once. Like he looks frustrated, and he had terrible body language most of last season because nobody could get him the ball. And another big factor that I really enjoyed was how many academy players were playing, and young players and new players. Like that's a big deal. Like I spent the entire summer like being super negative about like, oh, he's just going to play the old guard. He's just going to play the old guard. And he did the complete opposite. Like my face lit up when I saw that lineup. I mean, there's a couple of players I was like, what is this? But I think it worked. No. I expected Bernardo Silva. I just expect him to start.
Who were you surprised by?
I was very pleasantly surprised to see Oscar Bob, because that's a big deal. Like him coming back like to start a game after he missed the entire year from surgery. That was like a very pleasant surprise. And I did kind of dread the Rico Lewis. I was like, oh no, we're gonna get bullied or whatever. But then I forgot he was next to Oscar Bob, and those two have really good chemistry. And I was a little surprised to see Doku in there. But it was like in the middle of that game, I finally figured out like what the tactics of the fullback was and why he was playing the players he did. Like it just kind of clicked on me. Like I've been having a conversation with somebody about this like all summer, and it just didn't click in my head. And then I finally saw it, and I was like, okay, now I get this entire lineup. I get this entire strategy, this entire tactic, and it made a lot more sense. But and just really happy to see Nico G in there, because I think our fan base has spent a lot of time just like crying over him and being like, where is he? And why isn't he playing? And he's just going to play Bernardo or Gundo in front of him. And this guy's going to be chained to the bench, even though he cost 60 million. And just to see him get that start, I've been begging to see him and Tijani we didn't see it once in the Club World Cup, and I really wanted to see it. And we finally saw it. And I was like, why didn't we play this before? Like, this is great.
With Nico Gonzalez, people complained about him receiving the ball with his back to play. He did it just fine. Whenever he got the ball, he got it just fine. I'll think about one moment. I think it's after Holland was taken off already. ball came into him from Trafford, and our defender was right on his back. I think it was maybe Gomez, I can't remember. And Nico G knew the defender was on his shoulder, flicked the ball on with his left foot, turned around, and went running, got the ball on his right foot, and was gone. He has great spatial awareness, but even without him accepting the ball with his back to play, Rangers would just come all the way down, take the ball, and walk up the pitch. So even if he can't do it, which I still disagree with, Rangers can do it. So Nico G, I think on transition, makes it a lot more sturdy. I don't really like the defensive shape on a counter, to be honest. But I think for Wolves, it's fine. But when Nunez came on, I actually liked it more because Nunez stays back a bit more than Lewis. He will go up, but he'll stay back a bit more, especially when we're winning. But for Wolves, it's fine to just push up so high and press them so hard. So I very much so liked everything. Doku is one player. I see the attempts. It's like you want to give as much for that defense, which is going to sit in a low block, to worry about as possible. I just don't think he's good. And even Belgian commentators here, I keep pulling up this quote from a Belgian pundit because I love it, because this Belgian punditry is very different from England in that we actually have good pundits that people respect. So this guy said, when you're playing with a striker like Haaland, 10 assists is not good enough. You need to be pushing 15. And Doku has not even gotten 5 in a full season. And he was just going in on Doku. And that's how I feel exactly. If your main game is GA, because let's be honest, for Doku it is, what he's providing is not enough. I see the passes he plays, they're terrible. I don't want to be too harsh on Doku because he's got a lot of fanboys, but it's the truth. Belgian commentators are looking at Bertaccini to start in the national team ahead of him. Bertaccini, I doubt any of you have even heard of him. People are talking about players that none of you have heard about to start ahead of Doku for Belgium. That is how bad Doku is. And other fan bases, try this year, when other fan bases make fun of your players and say your players are shit, it probably means something. Take Doku. You ask any reasonable Arsenal fan, what do you think of Doku? They'll say, I don't rate him. You ask them, what do you think of Tijani? They'll say, he looks brilliant. That's the thing. When all the reasonable rival fans are talking poorly of one of your players, it means something. It really does. Big up, by the way, to Liam. I am doing fine, and Liam is back tomorrow. Big up. How are you, Kalk? Asks Liam.
Good. How are you, Liam? Hope you're well.
Gundogan, Eddie, Savio, and Akanji leaving soon. Does look like Savio may be staying, but Spurs did get, or Arsenal, sorry, got Eze, so Spurs might be desperate now.
They might have the money now for Savio, yeah. That'd be interesting, yeah.
Money not.
Well, I don't know if the Eze thing is complete yet, but it's Ornstein tweeted about it, so that's a pretty big deal.
And Josko, your crush, is back in training. What do you think about that?
Oh, is he? I thought he wasn't. I heard he wasn't today. So I'm actually a little nervous about him. Just because, like, he clearly got injured at the Club World Cup. Remember, he came off that last game, and then, he was like struggling at the end of that game. And then during that open training, he just left in the middle of it, and we haven't like heard from him since. I haven't seen him in any training photos though. What training? I don't know what people are talking about.
I don't know either. I'm just told that he was in training, but by Liam here, and Liam watches all the Inside City stuff, so maybe he was in training there. But maybe
they dropped a new one.
Maybe he was inside like a separate training, not with the first team. Maybe. Savio was in training into video they dropped. They must have dropped a new video because I also didn't see that.
Yeah, maybe.
The domino is starting. Rodrigo, let's go. I'm not going to piss off the Savio fans here, but Rodrigo is a bit more proven than Savio, so I'll happily take him.
It's a massive upgrade, yeah. I mean, I know Rodrigo is not like, I don't consider him to be like a world-class player, but he's an upgrade on Savio, for sure.
I think when you have Rodrigo playing at that level on the right wing, he prefers the left wing, and he's never the main man. It's always Vinicius, it's always Bellingham, it's always Mbappe ahead of him. I think it does say a lot. He won't be the main man at City either. It will be Cherki and Haaland ahead of him.
Nope.
But he will at least be on the left wing, which is his natural position. Does that make his numbers better? I don't know. But here's the thing with Rodrigo. I think he brings a lot more to a game of football than just numbers. I think Savio, I think Doku bring mostly GA. I think that's most of their input. That's fine. De Bruyne's input was mostly GA. But De Bruyne would provide 30 GA every season, and he still provides something else on top of that, even if it's not as much as a Bernardo Silva. I don't see that, to be honest, with Doku and Savio. I see that with Rodrigo, even if his GA isn't super high. But now you put him on the left, I think his GA will go up, even if just a little. So I think he just brings... He's one of those few players who brings a bit of everything. And he doesn't bring... He's not like a Grealish who will bring a bunch of control, but he brings you a little bit of control. He's a jack of all trades, basically, I think, which makes him difficult to appreciate sometimes, because some people prefer GA. Some people prefer performances. But the truth is, all of it matters. It's not one thing or another. And I think Rodrigo, while he's not the best in anything, will bring you a little bit of everything. That's why I like him so much.
Yeah. And it's up for Pep to decide. Just give Pep the tools, give Pep the ingredients, and see what he comes up with dish-wise, basically, to have a little chef pun in there. Because everyone's like, oh, Marmoush is going to want to leave, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I know Marmoush is leaving for a couple of weeks for AFCON. And then also, but when Marmoush will play a lot of minutes, like as a striker too, or as a false nine type thing when because Haaland always misses games, and he usually gets injured for a month or so per season. And he's probably just going to need a lot of rest this year, because he was one of those players who played a shit ton of minutes last season. And so we really need to keep really need to rest some of those guys this season, because I think burnout at the end of the season when we're making a title charge would probably end the title charge. And there's like a handful of players who just played and played and played and played. Like, I'm worried about Bernardo in that aspect. I'm really worried about Joško in that aspect. And I'm worried about Haaland in that aspect. I think they all played like close to 4,000 plus minutes. So they're going to need some rotation.
I think Haaland played only 3,000 something minutes, but that's while he got an injury.
Oh, right. He got injured. Yeah, he got injured.
He got an injury and still got 3,000 plus minutes, which I think is arguably worse.
Yeah.
Like, these players, some of them run too much. And I think Haaland, when you look back at the treble season, that's the season where he got the least amount of minutes, or maybe got a little bit more than the 4-beat season. But in the 4-beat season, he spent 2 months injured. So when he's less on the pitch, he's fit for longer. And when you can take off Haaland after he scores a brace against Wolves, that means that you're going to have Haaland completely fit at the end of the season. Because some people think, oh, you need to play Haaland every game. You need those points, this, that. Yeah. But the thing is, if Haaland is completely, fully fit for the last 3 months of the season, that is more valuable than him being completely fit for the first 3. Because in the first 3 months of the season, all the teams are still figuring themselves out while results happen. The last 3 months of the season is when everything clicks into gear and you just go on your winning streak. So I mean, that's at least my opinion. Maybe you'll disagree with that.
No, I agree. I'd rather play less in the beginning and more at the end, because that's when that's when it counts. And Haaland has proven he's a big game player. So I'd rather him be healthy for the big games at the end. That's when we need him. And so if that means kind of sacrificing a little in advance, I'm willing to do it. I'm also not the players. Like, he might not accept that too. So, like we were talking about Rico, would he accept the minutes? That's going to be the big question: is if you did bring in a Rodrigo, is he going to accept less minutes? Is Marmoush going to accept less minutes? Somebody's getting left out in a big game. We keep forgetting about Ryan Cherky and Phil Foden because they're in that equation too. I think they're all kind of. I think there's like 4 players for 3 starting positions, and maybe even less than that because Bernardo will probably take up a slot too. So. How happy are these players going to be?
I think you tell these players, there's 4 of you for 3 positions. Bernardo Silva will be here for 1 season, but he retires after this. So after Bernardo leaves, 4 players, 3 positions, whoever is best in form plays. Go ahead. And whenever one of you gets injured, the next one will take over. And you can trust in each other, because 100% with you 4, we're going to win league titles. And you say that to these players, and you guarantee at least a certain amount of minutes, bar any injuries. I think they'll accept that. I think when you get to 5 and 6 players, that's difficult. I think when it's just 1 player who gets left out, almost guaranteed to come off the bench as well. I think that's something that they can accept, especially when it's the ability to play across a front, front 3 behind the striker.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think there'll be a lot of minutes available too. But again, there's also, they all have egos too. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to
that's a good thing though. Marmoush doesn't have a particularly big ego. Foden has too little of an ego, in my opinion. He needs to man up sometimes. Cherky is very humble. People don't think he is because they don't. He is
backs
very
himself
humble.
though.
He is very humble.
He has a confidence though about himself. He really, I think he backs himself to be the best.
Yeah, but you read his interviews and stuff. He is humble. This is the thing.
Yeah.
People see someone with confidence and think they're not humble. But Cherky is very humble as well. Marmoush, I already said, and Rodrigo, he's also one of those players who I think needs a bit more arrogance. I think he's got a bit too little. So I think those are 4 players you can very much so say to. Sometimes you'll almost be guaranteed to come off the bench. Sometimes you won't play, but I'll make sure you guys get your big games. Because we did that already. We had David Silva, Gundogan, De Bruyne, and Fernandinho at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, I guess instead of saying it's 4 players for 3 positions, in a sense, I think it's actually 8 players competing for 6 slots. I'm including the defensive midfielders in that one. So like your front 6, it's going to be Rodri, Tijani Reinders, Bernardo, Phil Foden, Cherky, Marmoush, potentially Rodrigo, and Holland. So 2 of those players are going to be missing out. I probably missed a name in there too, but I don't consider Doku or Nico Gonzalez like in like they're not. I don't see those guys starting big games. They're the squad players. So speaking of Rico Lewis and the minutes can be enough for him, I have a feeling Doku, it's not going to be enough minutes for him, and so that's why I'm not very confident, or I don't think he's going to be here next season.
I don't mind if Doku leaves though.
I think a lot of people wanted him to leave this summer, but from what I've heard, nobody's bid for him. So if we don't rate him, if rivals don't rate him, it's clear other teams don't rate him either. So he might have to put in some dirty work too. But he's on low wages, so the problem is his transfer fee is kind of high, but his wages are pretty low, so that could potentially help that. But I think it's too late in the window for that right now, and he kind of is our only like true winger, and we just kind of have to deal with that sometimes, especially if we're gonna only play with inverted fullbacks, or the games that we play with the inverted fullbacks. You kind of want a winger like him. The difference is like we see Bob kind of doing the same role, but he just does it so much better. So we've seen how it can be better, but yeah, Doku. It's up to Doku to improve to get better, and I think a lot of us agree that he just kind of hasn't.
He won't. I think he's had too much time already. When you spend 3 seasons at a club and you don't get better, I don't think it will happen. Maybe you'll get better at another club, but just not here. It just doesn't seem to work out. Sometimes some clubs just don't work out. I mean, it's that simple sometimes.
Yeah, I just don't see him fitting our style of play. That's not me saying he's a bad player. I just don't think he fits our style of play, and so that can make him struggle. But I'm not going to say that he's shit or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will, because he's terrible for the national team too, but that's a different conversation. But with Nico Gonzalez, I don't think that's a big problem either, because he's 22 or 23. I actually thought he was a lot older than that, but he's only 22 or 23. Goldry is 29, I believe.
Yeah, he just
and
turned
he's on an
29.
ACL. So this season, you'll get a lot of minutes. The season after that, okay, maybe a bit less. But then the season after that and after that, you'll get more and more minutes. And by the time he's 26, 4 years from now, Goldry is 33. And by that point, you might be the starting midfielder. If I'm Nico Gonzalez and I back myself, and I'm saying I want to become the best midfielder in the world, Pep is the guy. I mean, Busquets, Kimmich, Rodri. Those three, all three of them are in discussions, debates for the best defensive midfielder of all time. All of them got their breakthrough under Pep. If I'm a defensive midfielder, I back myself to be the best. I'm going to say, okay, I'll sit on the bench for 2 or 3 years and wait for Rodri to get old, so that when I'm 26, I can be the starter here. Because he'll only be 26 when Rodri is 33.
Yeah, he'll be entering his prime. And you can tell Pep is coaching him too, because he looked, that was probably his best game for us on Saturday. He looked like he's actually like put the hard work in, and Pep is the one teaching him the stuff, and he's listening to Pep and he's learning. And I know it wasn't perfect, but if he can just keep doing that, again, if he has the patience for it, he'll definitely get a ton of minutes this season. And I would say into the future too, because you just don't know. ACLs, it's not a linear heal, and we've seen some players have ACLs and just never come back. I'm optimistic Rodri won't be that way, because
usually
the example I look at is Van Dijk.
Usually when you have an ACL, the recovery is very hard. Like recovering from an ACL, not sure if you've ever had one, it's painful. Like the training you have to do is painful to come back from that. If you have the correct mentality, you can come back from an ACL and it will be pretty linear. If you have terrible mentality, Sani, you're not going to come back from an ACL. I think that's the difference. I think with Rodri's mentality, he can come back from that ACL injury, have a pretty linear comeback, I guess, and within 1.5 years, be fully fit again like he used to be. And then he'll have at least 2 years left in his career.
Yeah.
At least at top level. If he doesn't have the mentality, but I do think he does, then you're running into those problems. But with an ACL, I mean, he's going to pick up muscle injuries. That's just how it goes. He will pick those up.
Yeah.
But if you just work hard on yourself and keep coming back from those and don't overplay, that's a big one. You'll come back just fine.
That's hard to say with Pep though, because Pep. I think the reason why Rodri was vulnerable to that ACL is because he got spammed out so badly. That's what's making me nervous about Yashko, is because Yashko got the spam out. Like Rodri got the spam out in the 4-peat season, and then Yashko got it last season.
We now do have Diaz and Stones and Husnov and Josko, and I trust any 4 of those as a centre back pairing.
What about Ake? Did you say him?
Don't worry about Ake.
I rate Ake very highly defensively, so that's the only reason I say.
But
he's a very competent center back.
His fitness is even worse than Stones.
It's usually better than Stones.
But recently it's worse.
Well, last year they both just fell off a cliff. Both of them just had a terrible season.
Injury-wise.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant to say injury-wise. Yeah, but before that, I think it was Stones who got injured more than Ake did.
Before that, but I'm looking at the most recent stuff because the bodies change. As you get older, your body changes, of course. Don't need to explain that here, I think. But I look at the most recent season to see how much injuries are you picking up and why are you picking up those injuries. Ake was getting injured when he played 45 minutes. Stones could play a game or 2 before he got injured. I know he got injured at the Bernabeu in like 5 minutes, but that's the exception to the rule. Ake was getting injured every game he played. So, yeah, he was about as injured as Stones, but his injuries were just constantly coming back. And I think that's why he'll be injured more this season as well. And also, just put him as a backup left back.
Yeah.
If you're a backup left back, you play only like 20 minutes at the end of a game, you probably don't get injured. I think that's probably a bit safer.
He can be a backup center back too.
Sure, but
there's not as much running in that either, because there's a little bit more on left back. But if he's just staying
if you
back.
are in a back three and have Nunez or Lewis inverts.
Well, you'd have to change the system then, because Ake is never going to help you going forward. That's just not his game. He's there to defend.
Yeah,
so you'd have to play him as a center back, or
isn't a more fluent and a more different system, something that's more changing, not so static. Isn't that what we wanted?
Well, yeah, that'd be one of the options, yeah.
By the way, Matt had it here, but in a while ago, Pep hasn't been playing to Haaland's strength since the fourth beat, with slow, methodical build-up. Same with Marmoush. They're great in breaking lines and countering. I disagree. I don't think he's ever played to Haaland's strengths.
Yeah,
never. The only reason he got all the goals he did in the treble season is because we had this guy called De Bruyne. You might have heard of him. He actually did a hamstring of Champions League final.
Remind me.
He plays at Napoli.
Kevin De Bruyne, who?
He's actually friends with Conte.
Jeez.
And yeah, so he will play games.
Yeah, there'd be moments. Yeah, even in the treble season, there'd be moments where they'd like that West Ham game. Like the first goal that Haaland scored was on a counter. So I feel like Pep does it in moments, but this game on Saturday was kind of one of the first times we've actually seen it be a thing. But it was a blend too. It wasn't just pure countering. There were moments where we just kind of didn't. So maybe that's the way forward, because it'll please everyone. You can have some control, but you can have some chaos. And I feel like that'll be a thing as we get more, the midfield solidifies further. I think especially when Rodri's back, then we can really, I think we'll lean more into the chaos then, because then you'll just have that little buffer. But again, that might be a while until we can get to that. Just based on how, because when Rodri's healthy, we know we can play that way, but it's a matter of when he gets healthy.
The philosophy around chaos football is my footballers are more technical and they're more physical. That's the philosophy, basically. Technical and physical. And if you are technical and physical, in chaos, you will thrive. The chaos football is basically, fuck your tactics. Let's see who's got the best runner and who's got the best passer. That's what chaos football is. But when you have Rodri, Sherky, and Reinders, all of them are very physical. The Sherky, by the way, I think people underestimate how physical he is. I've seen him bully people who are way taller than him. You've got these three, and all of them are super incredible technically with the ball in their feet. All of them can score goals. All of them can create. In that type of situation, chaos football, you will pretty much always win. The problem is, it also requires a lot more energy. But when you're constantly throwing yourself in chaos, you're expending a lot of energy. So there has to be a certain level of control. I like balance. I'll always come back to it. I like balance. Keep something balanced.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation after the game with it was a panel full of other people. And the Liverpool fan was like, I can't wait. He's like, I'm so glad they have Pep Linders, because all their players are going to get spammed out like ours were. And that's why he kept collapsing at the end of the season, because the Pep Linders kept pushing everybody super far. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I think we'll rotate more than Liverpool did. Because remember, it was their same 11 every game. Like the cup games, like every cup game, you're up 5-0, you're still pushing real hard. Like, I feel like that's where I think Pep can lean into the chaos for like part of the game to get the lead. Yeah. But then Pep can also turn it off. Like that's when when you're up 5 or 6-0 or whatever, 5-2 or whatever, chaos ball, and there's 20 minutes left. That's when you bring on the Gundos to start passing backwards.
It's a problem with
Bernardo to pass backwards. So and that's when you calm everybody down.
It's a problem with that, Kelkster. You're going from polar opposites here. You are pretty much asking someone to go from 5G to spend an hour in 5G. And then to come back to Earth, 1G, no decompression, go ahead. When you have a scuba diver, if you care about scuba diving.
I know what you mean, yeah.
When they go down really deep, they can't come up immediately. They have to come up very slowly. And if they do come up immediately, because they have an emergency cord, they're put in a decompression chamber to adjust again to the gravity. Now, why do I bring that up? Because when you swap from one style of play to another, completely different, mid-game, that's difficult. Players are just in completely different mindset. Think about scuba diver who has to come up slowly, who has to change and his style slowly, his usedness to gravity, I guess. Think about that mentally for the players when you just swap system. Swapping a system abruptly in the middle of a game, at halftime, sure, that can work because you've got 50 minutes in between, you can adjust, calm down, and you're going back on the pitch. But if you're doing that in 60 minutes, that's like mental flashbang for the player. So that doesn't really work unless you're going to go through the game, gradually just adjust tactics. But I'm not sure if that works either. That's my problem
you can
with
do it with the
that.
subs, bring subs on to do the new tactic.
Sure, but if you take off 5 players, it's still 6 players who are playing one way, and now 5 players who are playing another way. That's arguably worse. That's why you need to have a style which can strike the balance between chaos and balance, or control, sorry, rather than just going from chaos to control.
Just sleeping.
Yeah. Man City need to sell Calvin Phillips.
I think they're trying, but speaking of terrible contracts, wow. They signed him to a 6-year contract, and it wouldn't surprise me if after the first training session, Pep was like, nah. $150K a week. Yikes. I heard he was linked to Girona.
I've got an incredible stat for you guys. Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips started the Euros final.
Yeah, I remember. That was funny. It was funny when
back then people rated these players though. Funny how times change. Flopperes is a joke. Ødegaard can't rate. Talking about Arsenal now. Flopperes won't score 10 goals this season. I strongly disagree with that. How many do you think he's scoring, Gyökeres?
I'd say in the Premier League, I could see him getting about 15, something like that, which is not terrible. I think you expect more, but I've said this before. I think they have very major creativity problems, and so I think there will be a lot of games where they get low blocked, and it'll just be like us watching Haaland last season, where he just gets easily marked out of a game because they just can't get the ball to him. Maybe if they had a world-class creator, I would think differently. But they just haven't shown me very much. I just haven't seen it. I mean, granted, I only watched their game. I watched their United game, and I was not impressed whatsoever.
I mean, you know what's funny about Arsenal? All the problems that we had last season, they have this season. Because I watched the Man United game. Off the bench, they had 1 year on the bench, only 1 goal up. They brought on Merino.
Yeah.
That is the equivalent of you have Nico Gonzalez on your bench and you bring on Gundogan. I think that Arteta is just a troll. I'm going to be honest. I think he's the biggest troll in football history. Because there's no way you look at Man City having a terrible season and you copy everything Man City did wrong. There's no way you do that. Big up to Ryjack, by the way. Big up. How are you?
Hey, Ryjack. Congrats on your new gig.
New gig?
Yeah, he's on the American show on the Mancunian Way. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, big up to Ryjack. 4 outgoings and 2 incomings. I'm not sure who those 4 outgoings would be. I mean, Akanji, Ederson, Savio. Who else would it be?
You'd probably think Gundo. Or did you say Gundo?
No, I didn't. But I feel like Gundogan is pretty much...
Oh, Ortega. Ortega's a really popular one to leave.
Ortega's still here.
We've just forgotten about him.
Yeah, Ortega, I guess Ortega. Yeah, that's 4. Do you think we will sign Donnarumma? I actually do think so, but I think that might be a bit of copium.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about that because, like, I really believe in James Trafford. I know it's very... very naive of me to think that, but I liked him in the Wolves game. Obviously it's one game, but I just if we sign Donnarumma, that pretty much spells the end of him because he's not going to be. He'll be a number 2. I think he accepted it for this season, thinking that next season he'd become the number 1. Also, I have to say for Donnarumma, I haven't really watched a lot of him. I have seen him in like big games, and I've seen him be really successful in big games, but I've also seen him flop in big games. Like he was great in the Euros for Italy when they won it. Like he was outstanding. He was like a teenager back then too, I think, or 21 or something, like very young player. Obviously last year in the Champions League, a lot of heroics, but he's also flopped really hard. Like that Real Madrid PSG tie from a couple seasons ago. Like he had some howlers in net, and that allowed Real Madrid to win, and against Bayern Munich as well. And I've heard that he's very inconsistent in the league. I can't say that I watch PSG. I don't know a lot of people who do. So, but I've just heard he's just can be very inconsistent in the league. And that's in a league where they're not tested very often. So I don't know if that's part of it. Because sometimes if you're not being tested, you kind of get a little lackadaisical about it. But so maybe if he was being tested more in the Premier League, because almost every game in the Premier League is like a much harder game than most games in Liga. So maybe he would improve if he was being tested more, but I don't know. I don't rate the footwork at all. And I liked what Trafford, I'm happy to give him the season to develop and turn him into number 1 next season. But the club seemed to disagree with me.
Yeah. I didn't know either, to be honest. I mean, that's simple truth. I've no idea with Donnarumma. And one part of me is like, yeah, bring him in. Let the goalkeepers fight. Yay. Let's not literally fight. Let them see who is the best, and whoever is best should keep. But at the other side, it's like, if we're spending 40 million on Donnarumma, that's money we could have spent on Vanderson.
Yeah, right back.
And that's just an example, by the way. It doesn't have to be him, but like, I don't think goalkeeper is the biggest priority. And I did like what I saw of Trafford already. So if we're going to stick with Trafford, I don't mind that. Even if he's starting this season already, I think against Wolves he played very well. And yeah, it's one game, sure, but he's only played one game, so you can only judge him of that. He'll have some poor games for sure coming up, but if he plays most games better than he plays bad, I just stick with Trafford. But at the same time, a better goalkeeper is a better goalkeeper. Donnarumma is difficult. Donnarumma is difficult for me. A lot simpler is just Savio, because if Savio leaves and Rodrigo comes in, I mean, there's no arguing that Rodrigo is better. He just is. And he's much better. So that's a lot easier. With Donnarumma, I don't really care what happens, to be honest. Whether he comes or goes. My big concern is Ederson leaving rather than Donnarumma coming.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that quote too. I saw it on Twitter. I didn't read the article, but Simon Bachkowski, who is a very prominent City writer, he said that Ederson's going to be the number 1 on Saturday. And that to me is a big mistake. I don't think his head's here at all. And I think Trafford kind of earned the start too. So for him to just be discarded so quickly and Ederson just getting his spot back when I don't think he's in the right headspace, like that could be a disaster. Because I think Ederson, if his head's not in the game and he's not focused, is just as big of a liability as a potential Trafford is in a big game. Just because Trafford I know he lacks the experience, but he's going to try his best. Whereas if Ederson's head's out the door, he's just going to be like, whatever, fuck this.
Trafford is more experienced now than Ederson was when he came in. So
yeah, I agree. And he's probably on a high right now too. He just won Championship Player this season. For a keeper to win that award is pretty impressive.
Yeah, not a lot of goalkeepers win individual awards. Take the Ballon d'Or. Only one goalkeeper has won that, even though I think Neuer and Courtois should have won it. But that's an entire different conversation.
They created the goalkeeper Ballon d'Or now. But yeah, but you're right. When they're all in the same category.
Did they make a separate Ballon d'Or for goalkeepers?
Well, they've got that award. I don't know what it's called.
the Lev Yashin award.
Yeah, the Yashin Trophy. That's kind of
But
like
nobody cares about that. Fuck that.
But but how often does a keeper even get nominated for Ballon d'Or?
I mean, it's pretty much a goalkeeper they did every year, but they finished top 10 and it's not close to top 5. Courtois, Neuer, and
maybe Allison a few times, but you never think like, wow, like Allison's gonna win the Ballon d'Or. You never think that.
No. I think people just don't respect goalkeepers enough. I think it's that simple. The defenders not either, to be honest. I mean, I think goalkeepers should just be excluded from the Ballon d'Or and then have the Lev Yashin award to be a big thing for goalkeepers. Because at least that way, you create prestige around the Lev Yashin award. It's not, oh, you're not good enough for the Ballon d'Or, let's have this. You get what I mean? It's not a consolidation prize. If they make it the main thing, I think that it's a lot better for the goalkeepers. Anyhow, by the way, AK, big up in here as well. You've got a new channel, don't you? Feel free to drop the link. It's a perfect send-off game. I mean, it's first game at home, so I think it would be perfect for Ederson if he was to leave and this is his final game. And that will be the final thing to talk about because Kalk has to go soon as well. What do you think about that?
That's being Eddie's final game. I think the way to maximize it is you'd have to sub him off. Because remember that ovation De Bruyne got at the Bournemouth game? Like, you'd want to replicate that. And I think the fans would give him a really nice send-off, too. I know he takes a lot of crap from our fan base. But
at the
end of the day, we all respect him, and I think he'd get a nice send-off.
When you're in the stadium, fans are always positive. Even the negative fans are positive in the stadium. So I think he would get a good send-off. I think that's guaranteed. Do you think that it's actually his last game, or do you think that's more just fan theories? Because I've not seen anyone respectable actually say that.
No, I haven't heard. Yeah, I don't trust Galatasaray at all. That's why I don't trust these Akanji links either. I'm like, they're not paying any of this money.
Galatasaray have.
Guess what? What are we asking for? Like 10 or 15? What are we asking for? Like 15 million euros, and they just offered Diego Costa 20 million for him, 20 million, and I'm like, why can't you just pay us for Ederson? You keep linking it. You say you're sending the plane and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I just have a feeling it's not going to happen.
Galatasaray have bought every player on the planet already at this point, but they've only made 2 signings, 3 signings maybe. But they were linked to Gundogan. They were linked.
That's not happening.
They were linked, or they are linked to Akanji now. They're linked to what's his name? They are linked to Ederson. They're not getting any of these players probably, but I hope it happens. I do hope Ederson leaves. Ederson actually looks a bit more promising because there are conversations ongoing, and the club is actually getting pretty close to getting a deal done there. I think it happens. I still think that it happens, to be honest. But I mean, don't be surprised if that falls apart in seconds, because that's how that goes.
Yeah, there's still 2 weeks, so
less than
get
2
ready.
weeks.
Get ready. There's a lot of drama still to come. So, or I guess it's like 10 days because it's the 20th. But still, I'm just like, this is crazy. What are we doing? I hope some of those move on, but I just don't know. I just don't know if I buy it.
You will have to go now, so
I don't know. I haven't gotten a link yet. We could just keep chatting until I get sent a link.
Okay,
yeah,
beautiful.
Let's keep chatting. Yeah, I haven't gotten a link yet, so
beautiful. They can wait for a little while then.
They can wait, man. Send me the link. You want me on your show? Send me the link.
You
talk about healthcare again. No.
Oh, by the way, you did ask earlier about Josko, and this is the source here for Josko being back in training. Let me just quickly share my screen. There you go, that's the source, and let's not share my DMs. So apparently he is back in training.
Oh, good. Okay, that makes me feel better. I don't think I expect him to play on Saturday, but that's okay. I'm okay with kind of giving him time because, like I said, I think he played the most minutes out of anybody last season, and so I don't want this to become a recurring injury, whatever he picked up. So just ease him back in slowly, and that's no big deal. Like I said, and also John Stones is healthy right now. Just ride the John Stones wave while you can. It's eventually gonna crash, but just ride the wave, man.
Do you mind if I send AK to Link, by the way?
Sure. Yeah, he can take over for me if I assuming I ever go. Just keep chatting.
Yeah. Go.
If I like I said, I don't have a link for the next show.
Yeah, AK has to come on, but I always ask the panel or whoever I have on.
Oh yeah, I love AK.
First.
Come on, bring him on.
Yeah, because sometimes people like prefer to have like one-on-one conversations and they don't like to bring someone else on. But yeah, I've sent AK to Link, so if you want to join, go ahead.
There it is.
There you go. Big up AK. How are you?
I've been following I've been following a lot of drama lately. Right now, I just saw the SA to Arsenal bomber. I was like, Levy, you absolute egghead. Yeah? You absolute egghead. Yeah. Get your head out of the flippant sand and sign Savinho right now.
And you think he will? Because I don't think that's happening, to be honest.
Levy is a cheapskate. He better do it.
Bro, Levy, has been a proper joke for Spurs for years. He'll go buy one big player.
Oh,
he'll flirt with some other ones.
I got my link. I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Good to see you, AK.
Oh yeah, big up, Kelks.
Bye.
I think Levy, he's just such I mean, he's the reason why Spurs is a joke, let's be honest. Always buys one player and then says, okay, job done. That's what Levy does, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what he always does, man.
Anyhow, AK, what's your thoughts on that Wolves game?
I have to say, one of the best I've seen after one bad season, you know. After one bad season, our first game in the Premier League, it was the best I ever seen. I hope he maintained that playing 11. That playing 11 actually cooks.
I agree.
Turkey. Yeah, Turkey scoring his debut goal. Yeah, Reinders scored his debut goal.
By the way.
Beautiful goal by Turkey and Reinders, both of them. And Erling Haaland to register 2 goals to make it 4.
I want to talk about Haaland and Haaland and Reinders as well. The way they linked up, you saw that second goal from Haaland. Haaland's second goal, where Bob has the ball down the right, gives it to Reinders, and Haaland is just all the way staying back. Because he knows, if I stay back here, those defenders are going to run up, and Reinders knows where I am. He's going to put the ball back into me, and I'm going to put it in the back of the net. I love that chemistry. They play together like they've been here for years together. But it's their first game together. And that makes me think of when De Bruyne and Haaland were first set as well. Because they were playing with such chemistry, weren't they?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I'm telling you, if we can maintain this playing 11 and maintain this proper chemistry that we're building up right now, I think that we have a good chance of beating this new Spurs team with the new manager.
Who I think is pretty good, by the way. Do you think Spurs is good with this new manager? Because I rate Thomas Frank highly, but I do think we'll beat them.
Yeah, I do think we'll beat them because if you look at their current state of their team right now, no Son. Son is not there to cause problems anymore. Maddison is out, injured with an ACL. So, and Kulu, I am not too concerned about Kulu at the moment because Kulu himself, Kulusevski himself is also aging. His form has also not been that great.
Yeah, but he always scores against us.
Yeah, he'll always. I'm telling you, he'll always score. He'll always score. But
I mean, here's the thing with Man City right now. I think that we've got one obvious weakness. Right back is weak. But I actually think you just play with a back three and take Kudus out of the game. Defensively, you're probably fine. You might concede 1 goal. But I think when you have Haaland, Sherky, Reinders, Marmoush, Bob, when you have these guys starting, I think you scored 2 or 3 goals. So even if they scored once, I think we're fine. Who would you start, by the way? Who would you start?
I would definitely start Bob. I'm telling you, I would definitely start Bob because, I mean, people are just slagging off Bob just because he was injured for 1 whole season. Yeah, and look at the way he played. Look at the way he played against Wolves. He instantly chefed up everyone. He chefed up that Wolves backline. He took them for a royal ride.
Yeah.
He was impressive, not gonna lie. Bob, I'm telling you, Bob needs to start every single game.
Well, I won't say every single game because you'll get injured again if you do that. But I want him to start a lot of games. I want him to get a lot of minutes. I think Bob is an incredible player. You remember against Newcastle, the goal he scored, assisted by De Bruyne?
Oh, yeah. Assisted by De Bruyne. Yeah, Oscar Bob coming off the bench, going past. Going past Fabian Schär and dinking it over the keeper. Wow.
I mean, the way he took that ball, by the way, because that's a ball that's dropping down in the box, surrounded by a goalkeeper and a centre back right up on you, and the way he just took that ball, it came down to the ground like it was just falling on a carpet, you know what I mean? I think Bob has just such a silky touch. And same with Sherky and Reinders. I think all of these players are just so silky on the ball, which makes them very good to watch. I think when they're on the pitch together, they're lovely to watch as well. And not just good, they're good, and they're great to watch. Let's be honest. Who would you start, though, in the entire front four? So Haaland will start. Who do you start behind him? The 3 players.
You mean our front 4?
Yes.
Front 4. I wouldn't put. Obviously, I would start Nico Gonzalez, Reinders, Cherky, and Foden.
Okay. Sure, in midfield that works, but Foden is injured right now, so can't start against Wolves.
Yeah. So if he's injured, then then possibly bring in the likes of Gundogan. Then
you'd play Gundogan.
I would play Gundogan in there. Gundogan, Reinders, Cherky, Nico Gonzalez. That could work.
You think Gundogan is fine as long as you surround him by young players? Because I think I would play with Marmoush, Sherky, Bob, and then Nico Gonzalez and Reinders. To have like a pivot in midfield and then 3 in front of them.
Yeah, well, look, like you said, I wouldn't look. Like I said, I would start Bob. I would actually start Bob, but then we had to be really careful with his. You have to be really careful with his injuries, because if he's injured, then I'm telling you, our midfield is gonna get run over
again. I think so. Without midfield, as long as you have Reinders in there or Nico Gonzalez, one or the other, I don't think we'll get run through.
I mean, yeah, definitely. But I'm saying, where in terms of creativity, we are Bob. In terms of creativity,
I disagree, to be honest. I think Sherky, Bob as well,
yeah.
and Rangers.
Reinders, Turkey, we have as well. I, I am not disagreeing on that part. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing on that part. Obviously, we have Reinders and Turkey who can create, but if you want someone, if you want that sort of player who can cut in between defenses and give Haaland that cheeky pass inside the opposition's box, he has to be there.
I agree, but I don't think we're reliant on him. I think he has to start, but I want him to start these games. But I think if he's out for like 3 games, I think we're fine.
Okay, or option B. If Bob doesn't start, and if only Reinders and Haaland are there in the playing 11, then I think the link up between Reinders and Haaland is going to continue. Is what I feel.
Yeah, but everyone is starting Bob though here. In chat as well, people are starting Bob. So yeah, I would start Bob. I would start Bob as well, but I don't think we have to be worried about if Bob doesn't start, that will be fucked. But I will start him. I think he's such a. Is he one of the best players to come out of our academy, or is that too early to say?
I mean, look, we've had the likes of Foden, yeah, coming from our academy, and both of us have seen how he's turned out in his first season. In the academy, and of course his first season playing in the first team. He turned out great. So I'm gonna say this: Oscar Bob could be our next best player to come out from the academy after Palmer.
I think he's. I might get cooked for this at the end of the season, but I think Bob is better than Palmer.
You're definitely getting cooked by guy, but I'm not gonna cook you. I'm not gonna cook you on that though, because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm gonna actually lead. I'm gonna actually lead it at the chat. I'm gonna leave it at the chat anyways.
I think Bob is better than Palmer, because Palmer will go missing for 3 months. I know he still plays nice and all of that, but he will just stop playing for 3 months basically. You can't do that at Man City. Then again, Bob hasn't really had the chance to play 3 months in a row, has he now? He keeps getting injured. Bob has a higher ceiling. There you go. Shall we accept that? Bob has a higher ceiling.
Oh yes, he has a high ceiling for sure with his talent.
But right now he's not better yet. Shall we say that? Right now he's not better yet, but he will become better. How about that? By the way,
what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? Anyways, yeah, I was just joking, man. Anyways, you know what? I think we should come on to James Trafford.
Yes, I was about to ask you about that.
His debut game. Yeah, his first game after coming back from Burnley. Yeah, played his first game for us as a goal as a number 1. I think he was impressive.
I agree. You know that shot from Wolves? It was offside, but where the ball came into the box from our left, their left, our right, just came into the box. It was coming low, and I think it was Trent Larson came onto the ball, and Trafford immediately came out, made himself big, and he stopped the shot. It was offside, so it didn't matter in the end. But I look at that, Ederson does not make that save. And if that's onside instead of offside, you're a goal down. Meanwhile, Trafford comes out commanding, keeps that ball out. I I mean, it's one game. It's a bit early to say. But I think that one game he played so far, he looked brilliant.
I think his shot stopping was brilliant. His shot stopping, that every fan was talking about. I think his shot stopping was actually really good.
His passing as well.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, yeah, Trafford is good on his feet.
And I'm trying to think now throughout the game. There was a moment where he conceded an offside goal, but I don't think Trafford could have done much about that. I can't think of any mistake he made, except for one moment, actually. We were getting pressed high up the pitch, and Trafford got the ball, and he waited a bit too long. Wolves' blade was right on him, and he had to just boot it away so not to lose it. That's the only fault I can think of in that game.
But you know what? At least Trafford didn't commit a bozo.
He almost did, but he didn't.
He almost, but yeah, he almost, but thankfully he didn't. Thankfully, he didn't concede.
I agree. Do you think Trafford as number one throughout the season is good enough? Because that's what people are fighting over.
Look, if you're gonna ask me this question, here's my opinion. I don't think starting Trafford every game as a number one. Look, I am not against Trafford being as a number one. I think he's good. He has been actually excellent since he came. But I would actually start Trafford in the cup games and give more chances to Gigi Donnarumma, in my view, when it comes to the Champions League.
But then Donnarumma has to sign first.
It's all depend on the Edison deal.
Okay, so would you prefer that we sell Edison, bring in Donnarumma, or would you prefer we sell Edison and keep Trafford as the number one and maybe keep Ortega as backup?
No. Edison and Ortega, I think both of them need to go. Both of them need to go, in my view, because look, people are gonna think that, oh, why you hate Edison? Oh, no. Look, I don't hate Edison. Look, I never hate on any player. Yeah, and first of all, Edison, I think, has been our best goalkeeper in 10 years. Yeah, for the past decade, he's actually been good, but his head's not in the game anymore. And think about this: why do they have to keep a player whose heart is not towards the club? Think about it. Why should we actually keep a player who is not interested in playing for the club anymore? The same thing applies with Savinho.
Do you think he's not interested anymore in playing for City, though? Or do you think it's just, okay, an offered game and I will accept it, but he's still happy to play as well? I would love Rodrigo, by the way. I'm not saying that. I think Rodrigo would be a big improvement.
Me
But
too.
I don't think it would be fair to say for Savio that he doesn't want to play for City anymore. I think it's just, I got an offer, I'll head it out. Like that sort of thing. Like when you get a job offered from two different places, you look at both job offers and you think about it for a while. You don't just shoot one down and accept the other. You do think about it for a while. So I think that's the situation Savio is in right now. I don't think that necessarily means you're out of the game. But you know what shows me you're not in it anymore with your head? That's when you do like Ederson and you're actively looking for the places to go, thinking about leaving the club, while you're still on a contract. I think that's the difference. That's not what happened with Savio. Someone came in for him, and he said, sure, if you get the deal done, I'll come. But he's still in training. He's doing his job. So I'm not sure that's fair to say about Savio.
I don't know where to begin with this Savio saga. First of all, with the Savinho news and all that. But if it all depends. It all depends on Savinho himself. Whether he's
Does it
whether
though?
he's willing. Whether he's willing to fight for his position, or is he just or if he's willing to fight, it all depends entirely on him. If he's willing to fight for his position and actually help us win trophies, which I don't see the case. See, he's more interested in getting into the national team. He wants minutes. He is a
Sure.
sort of player that wants minutes. Which
Do you think he won't get minutes at Man City, though?
right now in this current situation, nah,
Okay.
I don't think so. And
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, I don't think so, because I'll tell you what I think about this. Savinho's last appearance for City was in the Club World Cup.
Yeah, but
That was it.
But
that
we
was it.
only played one game since then.
Oh yeah, and also his last appearance was against Palermo in a preseason friendly.
But we've only played one game since then, so
Yeah, only one game. Yeah, only one game. That's it.
Sure. Anyhow, I think the last thing before I end the stream here, because I do have to go pretty soon, is right back. We still don't have one. Right now, Nunez and Lewis are on that right back duty. I'm not very comfortable with either, but what do you think?
Sorry. I have to make an announcement though. 1 second. I just received a bomber.
Yes.
I received a bomber from the Athletic FC. Arsenal reached an agreement in principle with Crystal Palace to sign Eze. Deal worth around expired £68 million release clause, matching what Tottenham Hotspurs were ready to pay. Personal terms close plus 27-year-old plays for Crystal Palace on Thursday before AFC Medical.
Ooh. Yeah, it might be a bit of a bold job there by Spurs. I mean, that's what they're known for, isn't it? Do you think Eze goes to Arsenal means Savio goes to Spurs?
I think so, yeah. I think so because Tottenham, Tottenham were actually interested in Savinho, but just because of certain speculation by certain journalists and Levy himself, that flipping egghead, yeah.
Just pay up,
I mean,
come on.
Yeah, come on, just pay up, man. What's your flipping problem? Pay up the money. 90 mil, you want him, right? We got the money. Give us the money. Give us 90 mil. Come on, what's your flipping problem?
He hates us, bro. That's his problem. He hates us.
He can go fuck himself. I don't care. Pay up the money.
Yeah, I fucking hate Levy too. Soriano hates Levy too. Soriano and Levy hate each other. Which, by the way, it's rumored, not sure how true they are, that Soriano is blocking this move. That might be just because Soriano hates Levy. Because they hate each other. It's actually very petty, but I mean, when you've got a guy like Levy, I guess you'll get petty after a while because he's fucked us over in some deals as well. Daniel Levy, I can't stand.
Oh yeah. Alf. I'm pretty sure you must remember the Kane deal that collapsed.
Yeah. And by the way, people say, "Oh, if we got Kane, we would not have had Haaland." I think we would have because Kane would have played as a 10, or we would have played with 2 strikers. I think we would have gotten both because Haaland was always coming to Man City because of his family connections. So I think we could have had both, but that's a completely different situation here. Right then, right back situation to round up on. Are you happy without another right back, or do we need someone there? Because I still want another right back.
Well, to be fair, this summer, we're not getting a right back, so we'll have to possibly be in the market for a right back, and we were actually looking at Tino.
Yeah.
Tino Livramento. We were actually looking at Livramento from
But
the
we
start.
were outpriced and we pulled out of that.
Yeah, they were outpriced. So
do you think we'll get anyone this summer, or do you think no one this summer?
Right back, I don't. Right back, I don't think we're gonna get this summer. Probably next summer is what I feel. The next window is I'm telling you, the next window, we probably might get a right back. Is what I feel. Or yeah.
Until then. Sorry, go on.
Sorry.
We keep interrupting each other here.
My bad.
I think I was waiting for you to be done, and you thought I was gonna come in there, and we kept interrupting each other.
Yeah. My bad, mate. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, I know it rarely happens, man. But I was about to say that if we can't get a right back this window, probably we should try in the winter transfer window, or possibly the next summer transfer window, which I think we have 2 possibilities. Either we can get Tino Livramento to the door. If not, I heard certain fans were talking about Wharton from Palace.
I'm not sure about him as a right back, but sure. Who would you play this season, though? Because at least until to winter, we will not get any right backs. I think we both agree on that. So until then, who do you play as right back between Nunez and Lewis?
I would actually start. Matheus Nunes.
Yeah,
I would actually start Nunes in there.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I like Nunez. I don't think he's a great right back. I don't think he's terrible either. I think he's done a role that's not his natural role and done it okay. I don't think he's great, but if he's what we've got, I think we should start him. Anyhow, I do have to go pretty soon, so thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Always great to have you on. Thank you to Kelk, who was on earlier. And
big up Kelk. And yeah, guys. I don't know if she started her socials before she left.
She hasn't actually, but she doesn't really do anything on social media. She has a Twitter, I guess, but she doesn't post there much either. So I'm not sure what we should shout out for her. But you are starting a channel pretty soon.
Yeah, at the moment, it's still currently under the works, but I'm just basically waiting for the right time because my work schedule is
very busy.
Yeah, very busy. It's like This is like this week I work this week I work mornings, and then next week I'm working afternoons till 10 o'clock. So
Oh, that's fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah. I know. Yeah, I know because because the timing is not right for me. So I'm just waiting for that right timing to start, so I can so I can start my own. I mean, so I can start posting content on my own channel.
Yeah. Well, until then, though, big up AK for coming on. Whenever your channel gets launched, I hope I'll get on there sometime as well. For the
Oh, you
Akanji
will
review.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Once I start my channel, yeah. The first episode is gonna be only people that I know of. That's it. Top
Yeah.
guys in my panel. No frauds. No fraudsters in my
No
no
Daniel
fraudsters in my
Levy.
panel. Fuck Levy.
On that bombshell, we'll leave you guys there. Alf in chat, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Fuck Levy. Fuck Levy.
Fuck Levy.
That's what we leave on the air. Fuck Levy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.